Hello, everybody. How's it going? Thank you for all being here today. Today is January 27th, 5 p.m. UTC, 9 a.m. PST, 12 p.m. EST. My name is Game Dizzy, the Grizzly. I am your host today here at the SandStorm, the first metaverse education platform connecting brands and builders like yourself. I am very excited to be with you here, folks, today. Today, we have an amazing guest, Dom, the CEO of vEmpire, DDAO, the world's largest decentralized metaverse investment organization, founded in June 2021. Welcome, Dom. How are you doing?
Very good. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I think everyone struggles whether they say DAO or DAO or DDAO. I get that one a lot. I'm still not quite sure myself, to be honest. But yeah, all good. Thanks.
All right, Dom, let's get started. We got some folks coming in today. We got a lot of friendly faces in there. How's everybody doing? Hey, Dizzy. How you doing, guys? All right, let's start with our first question. Can you talk to us a little about the background on yourself and a little bit, provide a little bit of background on the project itself?
Yeah, absolutely. Starting with myself, I originally started out as a junior stockbroker in London. Very much the 250 phone calls a day, calling up prospective clients. Eventually, that led to a role as a derivatives trader at the firm. So in the UK, we have what's called sort of CFDs, contracts for difference here. So it's sort of like futures and options.
Mm-hmm.
After that, so I ran a desk there. Eventually, must have had a few hundred people come and go, but in that sort of world, it's very fast-paced, in the door, revolving door. So after that, I moved into wealth management at FTSE 100 wealth manager here in the UK, St James's Place, and the past 4 years before vEmpire, I was at a VC, but not a sort of Facebook, Google searching VC. We were an asset-backed VC, so we had boring stuff like gyms, care homes, pubs, hotels, restaurants, anything where if the business went badly, you had an underlying asset which you could take charge of and sort of make your money back from, which is what sort of led me down the route of metaverse and buying properties and lands here, because it's very similar. The concept of virtual property management is exactly the same as physical, but the market hasn't yet really noticed that, for example, the current bear market that we're in right now, excuse the pun, we do have all of our assets exactly the same as we had at all-time high. Nothing has changed. They don't crumble to the ground. They are exactly the same today as they were yesterday, which gives us a much more solid ground to work from as compared to a token that's pure speculation. Most tokens don't actually own anything.
So just to cut you off real quick. So just for the people that are coming in, vEmpire DAO it's you guys are basically have all this virtual land in your inventory, right? And your previous history kind of led you down that path. And how did that project start? Like, how did you get started on deciding that was what you were going to do?
So I think, because this was when I first started writing the white paper, Decentraland and Sandbox were the only two well-known metaverses, and obviously Decentraland was the only one that sort of was open. Obviously, it's not finished, but you can actually jump in and explore it across sort of the whole map. So that's where it started with Decentraland and Sandbox, and the idea of incentivizing users to stake those tokens onto our platform that we would then use to buy and monetize assets within these metaverses. So whenever you speak to the founders and devs behind Sandbox and Decentraland, their biggest complaint is always empty plots of land, people just buying it, flipping it, selling it. Obviously there's going to be an element of that. After all, Sandbox and Decentraland will have a percentage of secondary sales, so it's obviously part of the business model. But if you have it as such a large percentage, you end up with what Decentraland have a problem with, which is just wasteland and no neighbors for anyone. Metaverse, it just should be, and how you imagine it is like a built-up city, but in reality, it's just property, empty, and then more.
If they ever need any kind of lands to fill, just let me know. I can take that off their hands. So how big is the team right now?
So we have 13 full-time developers. We have 4 full-time core staff, so sort of operational and marketing. We've got more freelancers, and we have how many advisors now? Too many to count. 5, I believe. Not all of them are on the website. So I'd say in terms of full-time staff, we're getting just towards 20 now.
Right. Awesome. Looks like you guys are growing. Actually, that was one of my questions. Are you guys at point looking to obviously grow and hire more people as you guys are growing?
Yes, I'm talking to a lot of recruitment companies at the moment. We are very much on a hiring spree. It's just finding the right talent. But we also like to make sure that we're utilizing specialists in certain areas. For example, our Decentraland builders, they're not the same people who build our Sandbox assets. So we don't want to sort of shoehorn our developers to build everything, because at the end of the day, it's like getting a Solidity developer to start building on Solana, which is Rust. It doesn't compute. It's not the same language. It's not the same interface. So we very much believe in, letting people work within their niches. So we're not going to, hire a one size fits all. But definitely in terms of core staff, we are very much on the lookout.
Right. And you guys are, you say that you're the world's largest decentralized metaverse investment organization. Are you guys currently, how are you guys backed? Is it just purely off people staking, or do you have investors right now?
So we have very, very little amounts owned privately. So I don't know if it was a good thing or a bad thing. Obviously, with VCs, you can get connections, definitely work for some people. But obviously, in return for that, you have to give away certain, percentages of your total supply. People are investing at the end of the day to make a profit, which means that at some point that will become sell pressure, which is, fair if someone's investing and giving you money, and, they need to be making a return on that. So I think my original intention was to completely bootstrap the whole protocol, but I soon learned that perhaps that wasn't going to be as easy as I thought. So eventually we did take on some funding, and we had our IEO on MEXC Global. So the first investment we took was from their ventures arm. They read the white paper, and they were, just as bullish as I was, and they said that they wanted to be involved. So I took on VC partners, but only those who were happy to come in at the same price as our retail sale. So the only benefit that VCs got was that they weren't limited to 2.5 Ethereum. So we had a few partners come in. I think we raised just under $500,000 with that. And there's some really good investors who did come in because they saw the project for exactly how I saw it, hence coming in without having to be given like some crazy seed discount or anything like that. I think less than 3% of our total supply is owned privately, and the rest is completely emissions community and team.
Wow, nice, man. So it looks like you guys have a really strong back, and you guys are, growing. And looking at your site, obviously, you guys have a game, right? Sort of a card game. I want you to mention a little bit about that, and then and what is it kind of the goal of vEmpire? Is it kind of be to at some point become a GameFi company, kind of like maybe like a gala of games, or are you trying to be sort of similar to a mutual fund, or is a little bit of everything?
Yeah, it's we often get asked and compared to a few things. I mean, with sort of gala games, we launched for them back on the 31st of August. But as I say, the reason why people may not realize is because we didn't raise all that VC funding. One of the downsides is, less money for marketing and stuff like that.
Right.
But, it has its certain benefits. But yeah, people ask, what token are we? Are we a metaverse token? Are we game fee?
Yeah.
Are we DeFi? We incentivize stakers onto our platform and invest in virtual real estate. So the answer is that we're all three, to be honest. I describe us as the first ever layer 2 metaverse company, being that like Polygon is built on top of Ethereum, we're built on top and encompass all of metaverses and game fee. So the great thing about that is, firstly, as a VEMP token owner, you can stake your VEMP into our DAO, which gets you profits from
and VEMP is the token that you get, your token ticker, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's vEmpire gamer token, and yeah, the ticker is vEMP. So that can be staked into our DAO for XVEMP, and XVEMP owners are gifted 10 to 20% of every single pool on our platform. So at present, that's Ethereum, BNB, Mana, Sand, AXS, and Starlink. So effectively, by having VEMP staked, you get exposure to so many different protocols, over 10 metaverses. We've got Bored Apes in our Ethereum strategy.
Nice.
Pre-sales, token sales within those as well. So the problem with sort of introducing the metaverse to people is, which land do I buy? The price of a singular parcel in Sandbox and Decentraland is now, 5 figures. And that's not affordable for the majority of the world. And for those who are in crypto and do have larger wallets, still asking them to give up 5 figures for an asset where it's a lot more liquid than the rest of their portfolio is a big ask. So by buying VEMP and staking it onto our platform, I got distracted by the talking bear comment then.
I saw that too. What's up, guys?
It allows users to not have to pick, which singular parcel of land can I buy and hold. And by staking VEMP, you'll get profits from across every single metaverse and every single NFT protocol that we have on platform. So profits from our Bored Apes. We've got one of the top 250 rarest Bored Apes. Bought that for 62.5 Ethereum. The floor price is already 30 ETH above that. And I think we have it on sale for 250 ETH. So all of these, any user that comes into our strategy now will get exposure to all of those profits. And floor price, like I say, because we launched on the 31st of August, the floor price of Sand since we bought our first estate gone up by 960% because of how early we were. So anyone coming in to try and take our crown as the largest decentralized metaverse investor has to come in at 1,000% premium just to own what we bought back then.
Yeah, Zuckerberg ruined that for me because I was gonna buy land, and I even showed my wife. I was like, "Look, this is gonna be the future. I want to buy some of these." And it was like, I don't know how much it was. It was like $100 land or whatever. And then and I was like, okay, I should buy a few of these. And then I'm like, you know what? I'll wait. There's a little bit more hype. And then as soon as I said that, I think a few days after Zuckerberg comes up with their metaverse update, and then prices just obviously skyrocket to where they are now. But that's awesome, man. That's great to hear about that. I do see some great artwork in our SandStorm hub, guys. This is our SandStorm hub. We will be having an after party here on my channel after we finish interviewing Dom to celebrate vEmpire. But speaking of this artwork, this is some of the artwork from the card game, right? Could you mention a little about this card game? Is it similar to like Gods Unchained, or how does it work? What is the kind of utility behind this card game?
Yeah, so in terms of most like-for-like comparison, I'd say that the most similar card game in terms of gameplay is Gwent from The Witcher. For those of you who are aware, a lot of people have seen it on Netflix, but the game itself is within the game itself. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, it's like a mini game in the actual game, The Witcher. But that's what it's most similar to in terms of gameplay. So a lot of people say, you've got metaverse token staking pools and you invest in virtual real estate. Why do you have a card game? Which is a fair point. It does seem a bit. But our intention, the reason why it's called vEmpire Gamer Token, and anyone who's followed us for a while will know one of my most common complaints about the metaverse is the lack of imagination. If you jump into Decentraland, what do you find? Art galleries and casinos. Haven't we got enough of those in the real world? We've got everything that's there in the real world. We've got unlimited possibilities within virtual reality, but why do we build the same things that we can find here
in the real world? Right.
Exactly. So why
not be more creative?
Well, yeah. So I thought if the games, I can't really complain about other people not doing and implementing decent games and just moaning on the sidelines. So we also had the opportunity where we own land in so many different metaverses. We need a sport to play across all of them, tournaments that we can hold as sort of a round table. So we wanted to make sure that we had something to link across all of our metaverse assets. So by implementing our own, sport for vEmpire's army, then we can have that hosted across all of these different places and bring people together. So, we do on our social media, for example, we try and do at least 2 investment spotlights every single week. So we will contact one of our sort of investee protocols, whether that's an NFT collection or a metaverse, and we will highlight why we've invested, give some background on the protocol itself to try and sort of expand the open metaverse, which everyone's always using as a buzzword. But yeah, I think it's really important because, reaching out to founders, half the time I usually get the door slammed in my face or read and not replied to, which I think, is sad because everyone loves to talk a good game about the open metaverse, but when push comes to shove, it's very tribalistic still. So I think that by combining it and collaborating with all of these individual protocols, we can highlight the benefits of them to our community. And
I think what you guys are, congrats, you guys are doing something really unique. And it's definitely interesting. It is a little bit maybe harder to understand for the average consumer in the beginning. That would be kind of like my personal feedback. But once you understand how all the elements work together, I definitely agree that you guys have something very unique. And I love it. And I love the artwork. Is that one artist is doing? Are you drawing these?
Yeah, so they're all hand painted by the exact same artist. So it takes a while to get all of the pieces out because it is just one individual. But yeah, we want consistency. So the utility of that one there, Laconian Sheep, that was launched to celebrate our listing on Shiba Swap and our allies announcement with Shiba Inu.
Nice.
But each of those, so a common NFT boosts the strength of the card by 1 point, a rare one by 2 points, unique by 3. But obviously, there's about 95% of the cards are common, and the rest are sort of rares and unique. But with for example, not to slate competition, but there's other card games people are aware of where to own a whole set it costs you like hundreds of thousands now, which obviously it's suffering from their own success. But we wanted to make sure that the game wasn't pay to win, that a skilled player could still beat a player who owns the NFTs. So anybody can play, but owning an NFT effectively, how I like to describe it is it makes you the house, like a casino has a 2% advantage to a player that comes in. The advantage isn't enough to put them off from, actually playing there at the casino, but over the long term, the house wins. So that's effectively how the NFTs work. You'll still lose a good amount of games because no one likes to play opponents where they're so overpowered. It's so frustrating.
I did put the link for the play to earn trading card game in the chat if people are interested. And so can I go in there, connect my wallet and just start playing without any cards?
Yeah, right now. So at present it's free to play. There isn't the smart contract functionality. It's the playable demo. But even once the smart contract functionality has been added, as long as you own XVEMP, which is staked VEMP, then you can play. You don't need to own the NFTs to play.
Got it.
So you just need to be in our DAO, and that's all you need, and to find a player to battle against. So yeah, but the playable demo, you can log in right now.
And so speaking of that, if I'm staked, I can play. Does that mean the cards are not for sale at the moment, or they are on sale somewhere?
No, they are. So not all of them. I'm never really a fan of pushing out NFTs when you're quite far away from sort of the actual utility, which is why when the smart contracts are added, we'll launch the rest of the NFTs. So you're actually in quite a good spot where one of the things about crypto is that no one can really see more than a couple of days ahead of them. So right now, for example, some of the NFTs on there, we've got our Romulus and Remus NFTs, which are both 10 strength and joint the most powerful cards in the game. And they're on sale right now for 1 ETH. And they haven't moved for weeks, even though they will be the best cards in the game. But the thing is, until you start playing it, until you've actually seen the benefit, it doesn't exist. Right now, you can get the best cards in the game for about a 40% discount. I think the market's given us from dropping sort of 4K to 2,400. So yeah, there are some on sale right now between 0.2 ETH, so a few $100 and 1 ETH as the highest. So yeah, they will boost your score. It won't mean that you win every single match, but it should give you enough of an edge that over the long term, you come out as one of the more profitable players.
Right. And it seems like, I definitely get your energy, and you seem really like into your project. Obviously not, I don't want to say not many founders are like that, but not many are maybe as passionate. And I can definitely feel that passion from you, which is really a good sign for someone who's standing behind their product. And I want to kind of connect this into, because we had a guest recently and they were kind of like, oh, we don't really know where it's going to go. We don't really have a roadmap, and that's why I want to kind of tie this into like, where do you kind of see vEmpire in, let's say, 5 years from now? I know that's like a rough statement with, crypto being so volatile and whatnot, but where do you want to be in five years with vEmpire?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, like you said there about being passionate, I sometimes get some people tell me that I need to be have less emotion because you're not supposed to care when your price goes down. You're not supposed to say anything when it goes up, which, I get it that, nobody wants to, be speculative or that.
Right.
But I get depressed when we fall, it kills me, because, you got everyone, sort of on you about that. But I wouldn't change that for the world, because I think that it's so important, that people can see the vision and the passion. My aim for this year especially is to get in front of as many people as possible, and whether it's audio, visual, or
Right.
on a show, because once somebody speaks to me or hears me explain vEmpire, they can't help but be as bullish as I am. So I've forgotten your question.
Yeah. That was pretty much it. And like, where do you kind of see, it growing into?
Oh yeah. So like I say, one of the limitations of metaverse and gaming tokens in general is how big can a token get. It's one thing that people say a lot.
Right.
Getting to Axie, top 20. Sand again, sort of top 30, top 40, but is that sort of as high as everything can go? But I have to always remind people that we aren't a metaverse token, we're not a gaming token, we're not DeFi, but we are all free. I want vEmpire to be the BlackRock, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs of the decentralized investment. So that's sort of the scope that I see us getting. I mean, for example, Starlink, one of our pools, we already are the largest token owner with 3% of their total supply staked on our platform. As well as that, we own 18% of their metaverse. So I think if you look at Starlink's market cap, at one point they were worth 800 million, or even just under $1 billion. So if you look at how do you value a metaverse, well, surely it's the assets of the metaverse divided by the overall tokens, because in the real world, you've got two ways where, if, for example, you relate it to its real world equivalent, and you'd say that you have, a property portfolio, that's measured by one, the property fund price, for example, as the relation. And then you have the separate measurement, which is what we had at my old asset-backed VC, which is the NAV price, which is the net asset value.
Right.
So people often forget in this world that value has no relation to anything. It's purely just how much a buyer will pay a seller for something.
Correct.
Or vice versa. Which is why when you have Brexit or COVID, immediately all of the property vehicles gate the fund to withdrawals. And the reason they do that is because the fund price, which is affected by humans buying and selling, crashes below the net asset value. So if they wanted to fulfill redemptions, they'd have to sell assets, which doesn't help anyone in a distressed market. So that gives a very good opportunity in the metaverse, because since there aren't any vehicles like vEmpire, our net asset value is about 5. I think it's in our quarterly report. There you go.
This is the light paper. This is the light paper. I just posted a link in the light paper because we're talking about all these things, and I wanted people to have a kind of a reference of the light paper to look at. And you guys have a lot of partnerships in here. The tokenomics. It's just beautifully explained. And I know you guys have a lot of partnerships going on. Are you working on other partnerships you currently have? Chainlink, Polygon, Neo, Boring. You guys have tons of these, the Moon Whale. You guys have so many partnerships. Are you working on more partnerships to come? That's
absolutely.
Coming?
So we're in a very good position where we're being contacted by layer ones like Neo, because they see the benefit of having vEmpire expand onto their chain. all layer ones are in competition with one another for the best gaming and metaverse projects to build on them.
Right.
When people launch a token, they do so on Ethereum, Sol, BSC, etc., or Neo, or OEC, any of these layer ones. So Neo are very early to realize that by having us build on their chain, they can say to any gaming and metaverse protocol that comes along, well, vEmpire is on our chain, they have a Neo staking pool, and its role is to continually purchase Neo-based metaverse and gaming assets. So they can not just show a demand from their retail user base, but they have a protocol there also adding additional demands. So they're not the only layer one that we've spoken to and has contacted us. I also have been speaking to Star Atlas. Obviously, it's not layer one, but it's on Sol. I spoke to Michael Wagner maybe a week ago on Monday to explain the concept to him, how it works. Right. We've said for ages that we want to have a Atlas staking pool. Obviously, nothing's officially been announced. They need to do their own due diligence on us. But yeah, we had a good conversation. He liked the concept. He said as long as we passed our back-end DD, then no reason why they wouldn't sort of go into
and those that are watching, guys, make sure you guys are following with vEmpires, and they have a pretty active community. They have some great posts and on Twitter, and I believe you guys are also working with like other projects that are crypto, and you guys are looking for other projects to potentially invest in, I believe, right? And if so, what should, we do have a lot of builders on this channel. What should kind of the project owners do to maybe get your attention and potentially get your investment to be part of vEmpire?
Yeah, so I think whenever any new prospective protocol, if it's a token sale, for example, or NFT sale, some of the protocols will raise funds with guilds in mind. I know YGG well, connected with all the other guilds there. So I'd say to have that in mind when you are building something as to what is the application for not just the user, but to protocols such as vEmpire and YGG. What benefit can we have outside of it, whether that's scholarship assets or lands, anything like that. But yeah, the end goal of whenever we're talking to any new protocol, the end goal and what they want at the end of it is their own staking pool, just like we have Mana and Sand, etc. Obviously, we can't have every single protocol with their own staking pool because there's only so much VEMP that's being emitted to sort of incentivize that staking. So it has to be saved for protocols that have sufficient market cap, so as they have a very liquid secondary market. There's lots of buying and selling of their lands, assets, or axes, for example. So in order to make themselves more attractive, it's definitely to think about their game economy. At the moment, one thing that we are finding is, Ethereum strategy, the secondary yield, which is the Ethereum yield is active. So that's a double yield aggregating pool.
Right.
Axie, we have the secondary and tertiary yield activated. So that's a triple yield aggregator. Starlink and Sand, they haven't launched their metaverses yet. So, there won't be a secondary yield unless we were to buy and sell lands and estates, which we don't want to do. We don't want to be just, flipping stuff. But with Mana, for example, because there isn't really an in-game economy as such, there's no gaming, and it's not got the foot traffic. We're struggling to find ways to monetize at present. So what we are doing and what we will have soon is a huge amphitheater for events. But in that case, they launched the metaverse, but they didn't necessarily have the monetization features to launch with it. So it needs to have just having an open metaverse isn't enough. You need to have ways that people can interact in there, and you need to think about not just from a user point of view, but also from a business coming in to build that.
Right. Definitely. And that's some of the users forget that, right? At the end of the day, this is all a business, and whether it be, Sandbox being a game, platform, it's still a business for them, and there's still a business going on. So that's something people always have to keep in mind. Meanwhile, guys, make sure you guys are entering in your questions. I did see one question in there, Dom, that says, Dom, what are you most excited about when it comes to Vemp partnerships?
I touched on it about the layer ones already. I mean, we are announcing partnerships like they're going out of business at the moment. I think it's due to the fact that we just launched our BSC, our first BSC staking pool, which is the BNB strategy, which is the equivalent of our ETH strategy, but obviously on BSC chain. So the ETH strategy and the BNB strategy are there to capture everything that does not fit into the sort of large cap space. So that will have a much wider pool of assets, not just metaverses, also NFTs, also pre-sales and token sales. Some of our best performers have been from token sale rounds, for example, in the Ethereum strategy. But yeah, we've just had, I think on launch day of our BNB pool, we had almost 1,000 BNB staked in the 12 hours overnight. So obviously we've been putting that away, which has meant that we've had partnerships announcements coming out on that very, very often. But yeah, I'm most excited for the future and where I see vEmpire.
Yeah.
So going back to one of your old questions, but it links to this, is that like how whenever any protocol starts now, everyone's always says, when Binance, when Binance. So I want vEmpire to be of the magnitude where when vEmpire staking pool is just as powerful, where we purchase NFTs in protocols which are more prestigious. That's how I want the future to look in terms of partnerships, where
very nice,
we're a badge of honor. Which I mean, I see as already.
I personally, I see it myself, man. I mean, you guys are in a upward trajectory, and I think you guys are doing an amazing job. I see you rocking the vEmpire shirt. Do they have that in the XXX large for me?
They do have it in an XL. If you go, we have these are NFTs, by the way. So it's not under the it's not in the trading card section. So yeah, you got vEmpire, the Founding Soldiers collection, where you get the cards that you see here. But if you do want a T-shirt or a jumper, then there's vEmpire merchandise. So they're on Polygon, so you don't have to pay the same in gas as you would.
That is very cool. That is very cool. I am definitely, I love the whole, I don't want to talk about my own things that I'm doing, but I love the whole where you kind of take the NFT and attach it to physical items. It's just so cool. And where did the name like vEmpire come from? Why not something, I don't know, more generic? Like, was it something about like the Rome theme, or like where did that come from, the name?
It was a little bit of both. So how I saw it was sort of with my background in traditional finance, there was so much greed, especially as working as a stockbroker. The attitude was very much, how do I take money from their pocket and put it into my pocket? So I saw the traditional financial system and a lot of the corporatization of the metaverse as very much the sort of, old school empire, as you like. Maybe it's because I'm from Britain and we had the British Empire, which stands for like colonialism and just, old fashioned bad things. maybe that's why sort of I was thinking sort of the old empire of traditional finance.
Right.
So I wanted to do a sort of play on that where we were challenging the current empire of, you know, the corporatization of the metaverse. You know,
Right.
don't want the metaverse to end up being, well, people are priced out already, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
about picking it up for hundreds of dollars and now being tens of thousands.
Yeah.
If users continue to get priced out, then you're just going to end up with all of it owned by like Coca-Cola and just
Yeah.
you know, everything turning into not experiences, just
Right. And that's it's kind of like those domain hodlers where you have like a domain that you really need and that you can use and it'll have like really good value, but like at the end of the day, it's just a parking site for some other company. So, and yeah, I kind of see it that way as well. And then we got a couple of other questions. Hold on, I know you covered some of this. It says, do I need to invest to start earning? I guess yes, right?
Well, I guess it depends. The question could mean, do I need to own vEmp in order to earn money on my metaverse tokens? And the answer to that at present is no. So if you own Mana, if you own Sand, if you own any, well, ETH, BNB, you can stake those right now on our platform without having to own vEmp.
No, that's cool.
So yeah, we are, because at present, yeah, how I see it, I always relate it back to my days sort of in, you know, at my VC asset-backed investing. In your first, 6 months, what you're looking to do is build up a solid and mature portfolio of assets. And then in terms of adding liquidity, you can do that at a later stage. So it's worth noting that at present, the pools on the ETH side, Sand Mana, they are locked for around, it was 6 to 12 months, but we've been past all of that. So now it's only 3 to 6 months. Some of them, like Starlink, for example, that's ready to open. We could open that tomorrow, but obviously we need to develop the contracts. But yeah, it's 3 to 6 months. But you are getting yields of over 50% for that. But yeah, at present you don't need to own vEmp because our goal is to build mature portfolio. But in a later stage, we will be implementing that you will need to have 25% of the value staked in metaverse tokens in vEmp. So for example, if you are putting $1,000 of Mana into the Mana pool, you'll need to own $250 of xVEmp, which is staked vEmp. So at present, no, but bear in mind that it will be added later.
Right. And I just posted the link for the Q4 report, guys. If you don't know where that is, take a look at that. I actually went through this a few nights ago, and there's tons of information in there. Kind of they're having a very transparent view of where vEmpire is, and I really enjoy that. From I don't really like build in public, right? Kind of, but having that report, obviously, in terms of coming from a VC background is even more important. But and I assume the people that are watching and interested would love to look into that as well. Let me see. I think that's pretty much all my questions. I know you guys are you guys having like events and whatnot? You guys are working on specific events, giveaways, meetings, meetups?
We will be, yes. So we've got, as I mentioned, the smart contracts are due to be added to our game. So at present, yeah, anyone can log in as long as you've got MetaMask. You can play the game free to play. But we're aiming for hopefully first week of Feb. Don't hold me to that. But I always go by the adage: whenever you think something's going to be done, double the time and double the money you need to spend to get it like that, and you'll probably get the
course.
But,
of course.
But yeah, it's so I think we're due to be holding a giveaway. I think with with the Nifty show.
Oh, really? Wow.
Point, I think in the next couple of weeks, so stay posted. But we always are gifting NFTs to the DAO. So, for example, just by holding XVEMP, staked VEMP, so far you've had the chance to win Shiboshis with floor price of 1.5 ETH at that point, which was about $6,000, $7,000 at that point in time. We've given away living modules from Starlink, which again have sort of 1.8 Ethereum floors. And we've got around 10 Ethereum Towers apartments, which are due to be given to stakers as well. So I think the floor price on them is thousands of dollars. So just by having XVEMP, it's not just the 15% APY that you get where you'll earn VEMP just for staking VEMP. You'll also randomly get given extremely good value assets because, you know, we try not to invest in stuff that's bad, obviously.
Right.
So, yeah, you will get to win some of those. So I think you'll see in the quarterly report posted our performance, our annualized return for last year was 120%. And that's including having 3% of the total supply of Starlink staked on the platform. Obviously, we own already 18% of Starlink's metaverse, so we can't just buy everything because, you know, that's not going to help the game economy. So obviously, cash isn't moving; it's not taken into account of the figures. So I think if you look at all of the individual strategies, Starlink annualized return was 22%. Ethereum, I believe, was around 660%. Or actually, no, I think Mana was 660. Ethereum was over 700% annualized. Sandbox was over 2,000% returns annualized. So the only thing that brought the average down was 22% in Starlink, which is still like, when you brought it down, like, oh, woe is us, only 22% return.
But, someone writes, you own 18% of Starlink. F yes.
But yeah, it's our assets are doing extremely well. You know, we were so early, even though, for example, if, you know, like I said, people may not have heard of us because we didn't raise tons of VC money, so we haven't marketed as strongly. But we've been around since August, and what that means is that we were buying estates neighboring Animoca brands for 50K in Sandbox. Those estates now are worth over $500,000, millions even. So just because the wider market hasn't heard of us, I mean, yeah, look at the report itself. You'll see that we have measured every single asset by the lowest equivalent floor price that we could find. And even then, the valuation is $5 million above our current market cap. Because the thing is, crypto does not care about fundamental value. It values having an animal icon as your picture, or having the word Inu behind you. It values that more than actual, real assets that you own and can sell. If we were to sell all of our assets right now, our earnings per token is 10 cents. So that means that, not even selling all of our assets, that means if we just redistributed all of our profits right now, every token holder would get more than their token value back.
So everybody's profiting from it at the end of the day.
Yeah, everyone's if we redistributed all of our profits right now, everybody would double their money and we'd still have all of our assets.
Nice.
It's, the benefit is it's obviously very frustrating as a founder to know that your protocol is worth much more than the market is valuing it at. But for your audience and people I'm speaking to, absolutely great, because you know that the real valuation is higher. It's just that as crypto matures and as traditional financial valuation metrics move across to the market, when the meme coins have all fallen and nothing left but real sort of protocols, obviously there'll always be space for the meme coin, don't they? But yeah,
I swore to myself I would never invest in it, and then at some point I got FOMO'd into it. But
like I say, we're we're allies with Shiba Inu, and I see them as the original, and they actually have utility. Shiba Swap, Shibarium, they're building their own layer 1.
Right.
People just see them as a meme coin because it's called Shiba, but I see the meme coins as all of the copycats. It's the age of the copycat, to be honest. Like, you had Doge and Shiba as the original meme coins, and then everything just got into, let's add Inu on the end. Then we got daddy, baby, sister, Doge. Then we got the age of food-based swaps. Everything was a pancake swap wannabe. Everything was Uniswap fork. Then we had the meta announcement, and suddenly we had metaverses popping up everywhere. You even had like Meta Doge Inu. It just gets ridiculous on the trends and people following it. And that's probably why we've had a massive shakeout and dump in the market, because God, was it crowded. Literally everything was, there was way too much competition. And everyone was screaming and vying for opportunity. But occasionally the market does clear out the nonsense and clear out the noise.
And speaking of that, like just to kind of touch on it, do you see anyone as your competition right now that you think is trying to copy what you're doing, or because I know you guys are the first, right, doing this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So at present, we still don't have any like for like competition.
Right.
So I'd say our natural competitors are and certain elements competitors. We have one of our assets is that we're a guild. We have scholars. So in that area, our competitors are YGG, Gala Games, and more. But in terms of metaverse token staking platforms, I am not aware of any. There are protocols like, for example, their ticket is called Mage, but I can't remember their actual name. I spoke to the founder. They are similar, but theirs is more NFT based, and I think that their token you stake. They don't have individual token stake. But yeah, I mean, like I say, the benefit with us is because even though you may not have heard of us until now, our assets we've been buying for way before the hype kicked in. So fundamental value is there. But yeah, eventually somebody will copy it, and there might be one already I haven't heard of, or for example,
not that I've heard of it yet, but I think you guys are doing an amazing job, man. Definitely keep up the work. You and your team have done something really amazing, and I see that in the community as well. And to kind of one last question before we wrap up, if I don't see any questions, with in the Sandbox, I know you guys are building stuff in there. I saw kind of like some battle videos on YouTube. Are you guys building experiences as well for the Sandbox for play to earn?
Yeah, absolutely. If you go onto our YouTube channel, you can see the full landscape, which I think is called, the video is vEmpire Ancient Rome.
I'm actually finding it for you right now.
Yeah, so it's
vEmpire in Rome. Yeah, I'll post the link right now.
And then
I watched it yesterday and I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's the full landscape. You've also got our games that we're building within the land itself. So you'll see in the video vEmpire Hack and Slash. That's basically around our farm that you'll see in the main landscape there. You've also got All Out War, which is a group sort of battle as well. So we're doing like the mini games within the landscape. So we're monetizing and developing everything wherever we can.
Very, very nice, Dom. Well, Dom, thank you for joining me today. It was definitely a pleasure meeting you, and excited to see, where Empire will go. I'm definitely behind you guys. Everybody, guys, make sure to follow vEmpire Digital on Twitter. It's vEmpire Digital is their tag on Twitter. Make sure you join their Discord, see what's going on, and to celebrate vEmpire on the channel, we're gonna have an after party over at my channel, have some giveaways, and I might put on a little Rome Empire helmet for the show. So we'll see how that will go. Thank you so much.
Let me send you across a couple of NFTs to give away as well.
Really?
Yeah, definitely. After the stream's ended, just send me a message. and I'll pop you some over.
That is awesome. Let's go, everybody. Woo!
No, that's cool. I mean, yeah, as I say, the Founding Soldiers collection is on OpenSea right now. As I say, right now, Romulus and Remus are on sale, but a lot of people just haven't. Well, the market's dumped, doesn't it? So people are a bit more scared than they were. But right now, for anyone who's got sort of the funds and hasn't averaged into everything and has a long-term view, they're the best cards in the game, and they're on sale now. So yeah, I'll pop you a couple of NFTs over for a giveaway.
Thank you so much, Dom. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. Look forward to what you will be doing with your team, and I'll definitely be in touch. Thank you so much.
Nice one. Brilliant. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks everybody for watching. Have a good one.